that several months before us, the last 3 Christians that were in there, these guards, by order of that woman, said, send them in there and let them kill them.
Wow.
And so we were the next guys. And we had no idea what we were walking into. We didn't have a clue. They all started moving forward to kill us. Jamie Cashin said, let's get in this corner and we're just going to fight out of this corner. And I'm like, okay, I'm behind you, man. Let's go. And I thought, this is it. We're fixing to get murdered and killed in this prison on the Amazon River. My wife has an orphanage in Leticia, Colombia, which is on the Amazon River. We have orphanages all over the world, and this is a very, very, very special place. It's a very special place. Now, Leticia, Colombia is this little bitty tiny place that reaches down into the Amazonas, and one side of Leticia is Brazil. Across the river is Peru, and it's in Colombia. And so when we're down there, and we go down there every year, we take tons of people down there with us, do all kinds of work all up down the Amazon River. And I love the Amazon. Amazon is just a hoot. And I'm a fisherman, and we go fishing the whole time we're down there and catch piranha and do all kinds of fun stuff. And so we're down there, and we were doing this. Well, there's a prison that is there. And we're talking about a Colombian jungle prison. And I've been in prisons all over the world. I've been in prisons all over Africa, all over Mexico, all over Central America. But I want to tell you, this prison that is just outside of Leticia, Colombia, on the Amazon River is bad. I mean, it's not a good, it's bad. So, like Mexico does not have a juvenile thing. And a lot of people don't know that. If you're a kid in Central America and you go to prison with adults, they don't have a juvenile system. Now they have some local juvenile systems simply because there's Christian people involved in that, and they love Jesus and they love kids, and they'll work with the government and go, I want that kid. But most times, like a 9-year-old boy gets caught stealing something, he can go to prison. And there were 40 and 50-year-old men. And there's not a juvenile system that is in there. Another thing, too, that they do not have is women's prisons. So in this jungle prison that is designed to hold a couple of hundred people, there's about 800 people that's in there. And there is, I want to say 60 some odd women that are in the same general population with 600 men. And about that, and about 120 kids between the ages of 7 and, up until you're 18.
That's terrible. Wow.
And it's bad.
All in the same cells and wow.
All in the same place. And you can imagine. And so we heard about this prison, and I was with an apostle from Brownsville, Texas, by the name of Gene Izagari. And Gene Izagari has been a friend of mine for a long time. He walks in signs, miracles, and wonders. There have been 4 times in my life I've seen somebody healed of blindness, complete, total blindness, and I was with Gene all 4 times.
Wow.
He's been with me to India and to Nepal. He's been with me all over the planet Earth, and I've tracked with him all over Mexico. And I also had a good friend of mine named Jamie Cashin, and Jamie was with me. Jamie is a 9th degree black belt and runs around with Chuck Norris and all these guys. And he's a hoot, and he and I were childhood friends, and we grew up together. So he went on this missions trip with me, and I said, man, let's go to that prison. And so we found out about it. We put together 72 bags that had soap, and it had all kinds of stuff in it. And so let's go in there and let's find 72 prisoners and give it to them. And when we got up there, we put in for it. And number one, the culture of this prison was just so dark. And we were already, we're waiting. They're like, well, you're going to have to wait and see the warden. And I'm like, okay. And just in talking to the guys, hey, man, I got some, because I always take bags for the guards as well. And say, hey, I got you some special things. I got this, I brought this for you and for your family. And all the guards come over. They're like, cool. I'm like, yeah, we want to get in, man. We want to preach the gospel of Jesus to these guys. You guys going to be cool? And let us, yeah, we'll let you in. But you got to talk to the warden. A few minutes later, this motorcycle comes pulling up. And this woman who has the worst sexual spirit I have ever come across. She looks just like Jessica Rabbit. And without describing her, she looks just like Jessica Rabbit. And she takes off her helmet and she does her hair like this, and she is unbelievably beautiful and unbelievably sensual, and she's the warden. And when she got up, when she pulled up there on her motorcycle, she got off her motorcycle, and instantly all the guards were fearful. They were terrified of this woman. And this woman had the worst spirit. As soon as I saw her, I went, that is a next level demon-possessed woman right there. Like, wowzers. And I thought, there is no telling what's going on in this prison. And I didn't even know that there were women and children in that prison, in the general population yet. I didn't even know that yet. And so she comes over and she's like, hola. And I said, hello, Jessica Rabbit. And I bless you. And we want to go in and we want to preach Jesus in here. And she's like, so you're Christians? Yeah. And she says in Spanish, that's cute. And she turns around and she goes, yeah, send them in there. And I knew the second, by the way they looked at her and the way she looked, yeah, send them in there. I knew. Wow. She's about to get us killed.
Yeah.
I knew she was saying, I knew what she was doing. I was like, hey man, time out. We need to kind of rethink going in here. Can we rethink all this? And we were already just moving into the building. I'm like, oh man, I'm praying the Holy Spirit. We get in there with Gene, get in there with Jamie. And we get to this, we go through one door, they lock it behind us, go through another door, lock it behind us. We're going past these rooms. We go past these rooms that have men and women in them. And I'm walking past these, they're like, oh man, this is a dark, bad place. And then we get to this room, and it's a big room, and it's a room probably about half the size of your church. And they have these big bars, and it's like it doesn't have a roof. It's kind of like a courtyard thing that has these tall walls, but it doesn't have a roof so that people can kind of experience the outside. And they open up the door, and we go into this room, just the three of us, and the guards slam the door behind us, and they say in Spanish, you can have them. And I'm like, what'd he say? What'd he say? And Gene's like, he said you can have them. And I turned around, and these guys were looking at us through the bars, and they started laughing their heads off at us like, we're about to watch you guys get murdered. And instantly, these guys that were laying around, all that, they started moving kind of weird and started kind of going like this, and they started saying very terrible things. And I was like, rut-row, this is not good. And right at the before I tell you how God intervened, I want you to know that several months before this, 3 Christians had come in. They had took them into that room, and they had raped and murdered those people to death. Now, nobody bothered to tell me this before I went into this prison, which would have been very helpful information, by the way. And I was like, you have got to be... I give you my word as a man of God that several months before us, the last 3 Christians that were in there, these guards, by order of that woman, said, send them in there and let them kill them.
Wow.
And so we were the next guys. And we had no idea what we were walking into. We didn't have a clue. They all started moving forward to kill us. Jamie Cashin said, let's get in this corner, and we're just going to fight out of this corner. And I'm like, okay, I'm behind you, man. Let's go. And I thought, this is it. We're fixing to get murdered and killed in this prison on the Amazon River. And all of a sudden, Gene Izagara said, the power of God is in this place.
El poder de Dios está en este lugar.
He yelled that, and instantly there was like a boom, like a sound that happened in that room that I can't really explain. But it was just like there was an atmosphere shift and change in the room, and gold showed up on everybody. And Gene told him, you need to sit down, you need to be quiet, God is in this place and he ain't playing with you.
Wow.
And he started yelling at them, and everybody sit down, and they just started going, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? I'm just standing up against the wall. I'd never seen anything like this. I'd never experienced anything like this before. And Gene's like, so God sends us in here? You guys going to murder us and kill us? That's what you think you're going to do? You're not going to murder us and kill us. The Spirit of the living God has sent us down here. And the spirit that comes from that Jezebel warden, and we could see her
Wow.
We could see her, and the guards looking through, they were
watching.
all going to be
They're
entertained by how we were about to be murdered. And he's like, let me tell you something. God's taken away the authority of that Jezebel warden right there. And I'll tell you something, all of you guards, you better get ready to repent because the Spirit of the Lord is moving this place. And he's speaking in Spanish. And God began to move. And for 2 hours, we prayed and prophesied to these people. And God gave us a word for every single person that was in that place. Every single one of those guys either gave their heart to Jesus or said, I want to surrender to God in some way or another. The guards were crying. The guards were terrified of us. The guards are like, we're sorry. We apologize. We're sorry we did that. Our boss made us do that. We're sorry. We didn't know. We didn't know. We didn't know.
Wow.
I can tell you that one guy came up with this knife that was about this big, and he came up to Jamie, my friend, and Jamie follows me on everything I do because he stalks me, you know, and so he's probably watching this. But he came right up to, and he put it in because we hugged every single one of those guys. Those guys lined up, and we hugged every single one of them. And he put this thing in he put this thing in Jamie's stomach and said, "This was what I was going to kill you guys with," and gave it to him.
Wow.
Yeah, the Spirit of God moved in a way that the spirit of murder in that prison was overwhelmed by the holiness of God in a second.
It's incredible.
And I learned from that. I've since been in that prison several times. We've gone back several times, and I learned from that experience that no matter what mess is going on, because I want to tell you, I can't imagine anything worse than that.
No.
I cannot tell you how scary it was, and I can't tell you how sickening and horrible it was. It's like, okay, this is not good at all. And I can just remember going, okay, wow, man, okay, here we go. And just kind of settling into the reality of this is how we're going to be murdered, and this is what's going to happen today. And all of a sudden, God changing it with his holiness. Changing the whole momentum, changing the atmosphere of the room, changing the attitude of everybody there, changing the reality of what was going on from one thing to another thing in an instant, in a second, and nobody questioned it. Nobody went, hey, wait a minute, nobody did that. Everybody like, we're done. And I can't explain it. It was just a boom. So we went back the next year, and I invited a bunch of my team to go with me. Like, come into this prison. We nearly got
You're going to love this place.
You're going to love it. And by the way, the Lord did a great work and got that Jezebel rabbit out of there.
Wow.
And she was gone. We went back the
Come
next year, talked to the new warden, said, you're not going to try and kill us, are you? Because the last warden tried to kill us. And he's like, no, I heard about you. And by the way, we put together 72 of those bags, and there were 72 guys in that room.
Wow.
And there was exactly the exact number of bags that we had brought in there. The Lord had a gift for every single one of those guys. So we go back the next year, and I took Jerry with me, my executive pastor, and we told him, he's like, man, I ain't never seen no gold or nothing like that. I don't know if I ever be able to see any gold or anything like that. I'm like, you're going to see. You'll see, man. So we go down there, and the bottom line is we get in this stairwell, and it's still a bad prison. And there's still men and women and kids in this place. And it's still a very sad, very dark place. But there is a Christian faction in there now from the year before.
Wow.
A bunch of Jesus freaks. And there were the entire prison wanted to see us. And so they couldn't all meet in that courtroom. So what they did is there was a stairwell, a big giant stairwell that was like 4 stories. And they put us at the bottom of the stairwell. And everybody hung out in this, it was crazy cool. And so we're down there like, hey, guys, hello, ladies. And we're like, here we go, let's do this. And they were all there, and we couldn't get their attention because they were all talking. And they were all talking, and it was super loud in this room. And we're like, hey. And I was kind of listening. Hey, guys, everybody pop down, and we're going to start talking to you guys. And they wouldn't. And all of a sudden, a hush, just hush. And gold was all over everybody. And I'm like, Jerry, you seeing this? He's like, I didn't think I would ever see this, man. He's like, what is this? I don't know what it is. It's the tangible presence of God that is manifest in something that looks like gold. I don't know why God would do that. I have no explanation for it, but I want to tell you, it's got everybody's attention. They're being quiet. Let's reach them off for Jesus. There were men prostitutes in that prison that looked like women, that were crying and saying, I feel the love of the Father towards me. It was incredible acts of redemption were taking place in this stairwell while we were there.
That's amazing.
So I would just say this about just the thing that I learned from that miracle is how that if you really go after the holiness and the presence of God,
Yes.
how that the presence of God and the holiness of God can change an atmosphere in a moment and change the reality of something into a completely different reality. And I've seen that happen.
That's incredible. What an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing.
So welcome, man. Thank you.
Wow.